All right, guys, welcome to a special episode of Not Just Football with Cam Heyward. You know me, I'm Peter Pan, number 97, Cam Heyward. You know Hayden, that's Nathan Scott from One Tree Hill. It's okay. But we have a very special guest, and he's just playing himself, Mr. Larry Ogunjobi. What's up, brother? How you doing?
Good. It was good. I'm finally glad to be, on the podcast. Finally got the invite.
You always got the invite. You can keep coming back if you want. We can let you talk.
That's all right. We'll see how this one goes.
That's all right. All right, well, then let's start. What do people not know about Larry Ogunjobi?
I like to read a lot. I like books. Books like The Power of Now, The Magic of Thinking Big, Four Agreements, Untethered Soul. I think my favorite book is The Alchemist, though. I've always been a big reader just growing up. My parents are in the medical field, so they kind of instilled in me, scholastic stuff, where my parents are immigrants. So, like, if you're not a doctor, lawyer, engineer, all that kind of stuff, that's kind of the road track that you take as a kid. So they were big on me, being in the books and reading, and I found a love for it. So I'd say I like to read a lot. I like space. I like astrology. Greek mythology, all kinds of stuff, really. It just depends on who you ask.
Wow. So now it makes sense that TJ was scared of you when we were playing Scrabble. Because I remember TJ always saying, like, bro, he reads books. Like, I'm scared of this dude. But what I want to know is, you mentioned your parents, and they always had a structure of, you're an engineer or, very big in the scholastics. How did they deal with you wanting to play sports?
Oh, all right. Well, this is going to be a funny story. So I didn't really start playing football. Well, the only reason why I started playing football is because my mom took away my Xbox. That was the only reason why I got into football. I was about 350 pounds, obese. I couldn't get in I was playing Call of Duty, Gears of War, Madden. It was when I was playing with the Steelers on the little franchise thing. But I was just gaining a lot of weight. And my mom and my dad came to me one day and they're like, you're killing yourself. And they took away my Xbox. So, I'm probably like 15, 16. I'm throwing tantrums. I'm pissed off, mad at the world. I think my parents hate me. My dad goes to the park one day and he meets his coach. His name is Robert Mitchell. And he tells he's talking to my dad, and my dad is like, I'm worried about my son and whatnot. And, the coach says I can help him. So it was one Saturday morning. I get a knock on the door. This dude is at my front door. He's like, all right, come on, let's go. We're about to work out. I'm like, bro, who are you? He's like, no, we're about to go work out. So I'm asking my mom, like, what are we doing? She's like, no, you're going. So I start training with him. I start working out with him. And then one day, after about a month or so, we drive by the high school. And he said, we're going to stop in the high school real quick. I'm like, for what? He's like, you're going to play football. I'm like, no, I'm not. The deal was you're going to help me lose weight. Because at this point I had lost a couple pounds, so I was feeling a little more confident about myself. But I was like, football was not, in the cards. Like, that's not what I wanted to do. And anyway, he got the permission slip. He took it to my mom. My mom signed it. I was on the football field that Saturday. Walk on the field. Everybody's like, who's that? Who's that? Oh, it's just Larry. Because, when you're a bigger guy, coaches have already probably tried to get you on the team and whatnot. So we go through the practice. We go through the sprints. Can't finish the sprints. Can't finish the workout. Coaches come up to me the next day. They're like, Larry, want to make sure you're still here. And like, yeah, I'm still here, but like in my head, I'm like, only because I have to be. But, I go through that, JV season. Obviously it was, ups and downs my first time playing. But I think that the huge point for me was the awards banquet, right? So at the award banquet, I thought my best friend at the time, Trey Grimes, was going to get the award for most improved JV player. And they gave it to me. And that was like the first time in my life I felt like I earned something that I really worked for. So I asked my coach what I needed to do. He said you had to get faster, you had to get stronger, and you had to perfect your technique. So every day after practice, I would go to the YMCA and I would, start off running half a mile and biking 5 miles, then running a whole mile, biking 10 miles. And I finally got to a point where I could run like 2 whole miles without stopping, bike 15 miles. My body composition started changing. So I went from 350 the summer of my sophomore year to 247 the summer of my junior year. But then my coaches was like, man, what are you doing? You trying to play DB? I was like, nah. I had bulked back up to 262 for my junior year, made all conference. And then my senior year, I was like 267, made all conference, East-West All-Star, had about 5 scholarship offers, Charlotte, Furman, Howard, Presbyterian, Catawba. Only took one official visit. That was to Charlotte. And it was like, and that's kind of that, because I think sometimes people will see you now, this is my 7th year in the league, and they won't really know the background of what, how you got there. They just think like, oh, this guy he was a stud just coming out, like he was like, nah, like I had to really like build this. I had to become, this person. And, you end up going to Charlotte, our first year was all practice. Like we all redshirted. So imagine you're at Ohio State and everybody in your class redshirts, and all y'all do is practice against each other. So that's all we did. We practice. When we first got there wasn't even a stadium. It was just a big like mound of dirt, and it was like we had to walk through the facility with like hard hats on. Like it was really crazy because to see where it is now and what it was before is tremendous. But you go to Charlotte. I majored in computer science and biology, was a double major, and ended up being the first player drafted from Charlotte. So
first player drafted from Charlotte, and then you get to play with a guy named Alex Highsmith. Tell me what he was in college, and did you see this guy becoming what he is today?
It's actually funny because our interaction in college was kind of short, because when I was a senior going into my senior season, he was like a freshman walk-on. But it was cool though, because when I actually got into the league, Alex would send me like his clips of like pass rush, like going through the bags and all that kind of stuff. And he just always seemed hungry. And all of a sudden you look up and he's, All-American. And it's just I think a testament to just being that almost that self-made man, like you walk on, you earn a scholarship, and you just continue to grind. I think that was kind of the legacy that me and my classmates were trying to leave. Going through that first class was like, it doesn't matter where you start. If you're good enough, they'll come find you. And I feel like the guys who adapted to that and adopted that mentality just gave themselves an opportunity, because we had guys who maybe got like a workout or something like that, but after I got drafted, it was almost like, all right, this is possible. It's not impossible. Like it's possible. I can do this. So if I just work hard, I put my best foot forward, I give myself a chance, like I can do it. And then you see guys like Nate Davis, and then Alex, and then Cam Clark. And now it's becoming this thing where it's not uncommon anymore. You got guys, I think in my draft class, we had guys coming out the MEAC and stuff like that. So that's when I knew it was like, if you're good enough, they'll come find you. Even like a guy like Javon, went to South Carolina State, and there's no knock on HBCUs, but it's like, it doesn't matter where you are. As long as you're willing to put in the work and the effort and give it your all every day, you're going to give yourself an opportunity and a chance to, be great. And then once you get your foot in your door, is your chance to make the most of it. And I think that a guy like Alex, what he's done, what he's doing, the impact that he's making, on the team, is just awesome, because I've got to see it all throughout, his career, being that I've been in the AFC North my entire career. So I got to see him, a little bit when I was in Cleveland, and then when I got to Cincy, and now that I'm here and watching his work ethic and just what he's developing into, it's exciting. I think that's why Pittsburgh is such a special place, just because they really take the time to develop guys. They teach them the ways, and it's almost like if you're a guy who loves football, then you'll love Pittsburgh, because it's like They give you the tools you need to like be great. And you laugh because you ain't been nowhere else.
No, I laugh because people say, they say, if you love football, you love Pittsburgh. If you love anything else, you won't love Pittsburgh.
Yeah, facts. So it's like it's that cool balance. Like if you're a football guy, like this is your spot, and I think the fans even give you that kind of energy and atmosphere because, like, I think I was talking to Mitch after the LA game, and it was really crazy just to we continue to go to these away teams, like these stadiums, and it's like a home game.
Mm-hmm.
Like you go to these games, and it's you see all the terrible towers, you see all the fans, and it's really crazy because in other places, like, fans don't travel like that. So it's really just cool to be a part of an organization and atmosphere that really just like lives and breathes football. So I think it's super dope.
One thing I want to bring up with Charlotte, you were coached by Aaron Curry, and now he is the inside linebackers coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah. Explain that relationship, because that's pretty special in itself.
Well, AC, man, that's really my dog, man. Like, he
got drafted by Wake Forest, and
crazy. Like, he came to Charlotte. I saw AC. And AC's a big dude, so I was like, this dude plays linebacker. I'm like, oh man, the NFL is a real deal. But we all gravitated to it. Me, Austin Duke, Brandon Banks, Jamal Covenant. Those are some of my closest friends. We all kind of gravitated towards AC just because of, he was where we wanted to be. He had got drafted 4th overall. He signed with Seattle. Played with the Raiders. Obviously, what happened, but like, he had made it, and he made it in a big way. And a lot of times I tell people that everybody has a vision, right? But not enough people have a roadmap. Nobody has like the ability to kind of navigate through it. And I think that when you're a pioneer, that's something that it's hard at times. When you're the first at something, think about it. You in Ohio State, right? Like, there was a bunch of guys that got drafted and went to the league. There was a blueprint for that. But for me and everybody else who was around me, it was kind of like there was no blueprint. So when AC got there, that was the first time where we really felt like, okay, this is somebody that we can really kind of pick his brain, understand, learn from, see exactly what he's able to teach us, and then kind of go from there. And this is impact, in school was just tremendous, just because, he pushed me. He expected nothing but the best. Like, he didn't take, like, AC now is funny, but like in college, like, he was no BS, like, cause he understood the desire that, I personally had, but then also just like what it took to really get there. Like, you had to be that much better. You had to do that much more. You had to stand up that much, the level of excellence and just the output had to be at such a high level. And that's what he kind of demanded. So, he was my D-line coach, and I was really grateful, to have him.
It's funny now because now y'all just look like an old married couple when y'all bicker back and forth. Like, you gave him a lot of love, and I'm gonna tell him you gave him this love because the way y'all talk to each other now is completely different.
Man, that's he put on a work front. Don't believe the hype. That's a work front.
All right. Well, then let's move into, the NFL. You played for 3 of the AFC North teams. How was it like playing in Cleveland, Cincinnati, and now Pittsburgh? Are you trying to go to the Baltimore Ravens to round things out?
Not if I can help it. I'd like to just stay and just, stick around and right off into the sunset. But it's been very interesting. It's unique. Like I said, we talk about being the first, but like Alex has been on the Steelers and probably will be for his entire career. But like, I've been on almost every AFC North team, so it's kind of funny. So starting out in Cleveland, So imagine, you hype, you got drafted, you the first ever, it's about to be lit, 0-16. Like, imagine going to work every week with the fire, the drive, the energy, 0-16. Not for lack of practice, not for lack of working hard, just, it was a younger team, and it just is what it would just, that's just how it shook up. Like, there were some close games, there's some nail biters, and it's like, damn. But, you build, you grind, you go through the process. Then, we start to pick things up. Baker comes in. We start to win games. We go, I think it was 9-8-1 or something like that. I think we tied the first game of the season that second year. And we all were kind of looking around at the end of the game like, that's it? And I think everybody on our side was like, yeah, we ain't lose. But it's been a cool journey, though, because to start 0-16, and then it's always funny how the Steelers have played such an interesting role in my career, because obviously we had, obviously all the great games. Like, I think the Steelers was my first like regular season NFL game was against the Steelers. Obviously we had that scuffle, and then
we're gonna talk about that. Don't run from it. Don't run from it. We're gonna talk about that. You finish.
And then we play out the last home game of that playoff run, and then we go during COVID and play out in Pittsburgh, and then we get the dub in Pittsburgh. So it was just a very interesting time. And then after that, you leave there and you go to Cincinnati, and it's like, man, what's going on? Like, you thinking you're going to be in Cleveland, because once again, as a player, like, nobody ever wants to leave a team that they get drafted to, because especially you don't know no better, And for me, I just didn't. I was like, all right, this is home. This is where I've been at for the last 4 years. Like, I want to stake my flag, and then you don't. But then it's like, I'm a big believer that, God doesn't make mistakes. So you go to Cincinnati, and it's dope because you're playing, you're balling out, the team is winning. Obviously you had the ups and downs, but you look up and it's like you're in the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, I got hurt, the first playoff game, but just that, that feeling, that being there, that like, once you taste that, like, you have to get there. Like, you have to get back there. Like, being hurt and having to sit and watch that game was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life, just because, like, you just couldn't be out there, because you want to impact, you want to help, you want to play, because this is the greatest stage. And but once you get that, it's like, I can't leave without getting there.
Rewind back. Let's go to the scuffle.
All right.
Or, like, I like to call it, the Cleveland cranium crash.
That's a working title. That's got to be
a working title. It is
working, yeah.
But I love hearing your side of the story, because it really does provide a lot of insight. Because if people don't know, me and Larry were basically about to get into it.
Yeah.
Right at the end of the game, because we didn't even realize we were gonna be teammates years later. But, like, it's funny how it happens.
Guy has a funny sense of humor. But yeah, it was like, so we're playing. It's a Thursday night game. I'm balling. I got my sack. I'm good. We're playing. It's like, people don't understand, but, like, the Steelers were like the big brother of the AFC, especially my first 4 years in the league. So, like, anytime it was, everybody's hype, everybody's mad in the building, the energy is just there. And, so it's a Thursday night game, it's prime time. And for lack of better words, we're going ham. So we're having a good time. And there's 7 seconds left on the clock. Like, I done got my sack and I hit the bowling ball celebration. I'm good to go. Like, I'm thinking I'm about to go home and have a great time. And that's not what happened. So they run a screen the last play of the game. So I'm running down the field, penalties down the field. So I'm just running. So it's the scream, you know. So I'm thinking the game's over. So all of a sudden, like I hear the crowd like doing all that kind of stuff. So I turn around. We're probably at like let's say probably like the 40 or something, because you guys were backed up anyway. So I turn around and I see like a scuffle, and then I see like a helmet, like boom. And I'm thinking like, this is so funny. So so I'm thinking Mason hit Myles the whole time, like the whole time. So I run down there, I shove Mason. I'm like, man, what the F are you doing? Like, then everybody starts coming around. I'm like, what? I'm the whole time. I'm like, you didn't see what he did? You didn't see what he did? The whole time, you know me, I'm 40 yards down the field. All I see is that. So I'm thinking like, this dude just hit Myles with a helmet. And because obviously he ain't got no helmet on. So I'm thinking this dude just used his helmet. So we go, obviously I get it. We all get it, like halfway get ejected. Cam comes up. He's like, man, you want to go? I'm like, what's up? Like, what you want to do? Like, Cam's like, see me after the game. I'm like, all right. So they taking us off the field. The crowd is going crazy. Like, yeah. I'm thinking like, I don't really know. I'm thinking in my head like, I'm just, you know, standing up for your teammate. So I go in the locker room. I do the interview, like all that. This is so funny. I get to the little friends and family area, and my dad looks at me. He's like, son, why? And I'm like, what do you mean why? The whole time I'm like, and that's why it's so funny to me. It's like, I look at the video, I'm like, damn. So like, and it's so funny because like looking back at it, I'm like, obviously it could have it was just one of those things where like you shove anybody else, like if it was an old lineman that got pushed, no problem. But like it was just a situation, the severity of it, actually getting hit with a helmet, like, so it was just one of those things. And then like you got to shut off your comments for like 2 weeks, like you got to you got to appeal or whatever. But the weird thing about the scheduling was like, like I got a 1-game suspension, but then the game that I came back was against the Steelers again. I'm like, bro, like, you really can't make this up. But lo and behold, though, like all in all, it's just kind of one of them things, you know, like.
And I'll just say that I'll say this, like after this is the type of person you are, like, you know, you were thinking about signing with the Steelers, and we were talking, and you're like, bro, I just want to clear the air, and I'm like, I could care less about that now, bro. Like it's behind me, and like you were going on an apology tour that you didn't even have to go on. So like, you know, it speaks to your character, and like we were more than happy to have you come to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, man, you just want to. Hey.
Well, I was going to ask, did y'all feel like you needed to have a meeting before? Like even with Mason, did you feel like you had to talk to him before you signed with the Steelers?
It's not like it was Myles at the time. Let's be real. Like
I know,
it was a
but
push.
he was involved. Like, I mean, it's a fair question.
No, if he had thrown the helmet, that's a different talk. But like, bro, like it was straight, right? What about you and Mason? Did you guys talk?
We're cool now. I mean, I think because you gotta think about it. Like it was the whole situation was just kind of like one of those things where it's like it just kind of just is what it is. Like I'm defending my side, you guys are defending yours. Like we play a very like passionate, emotional game. Like obviously you don't want nobody getting hit and vice versa, but it's like sometimes tempers just flare. It doesn't make anything right or wrong. It just makes it real. Like we're all human. Like there's probably been plenty of times where somebody wants to do something, but like I've seen I think they were showing like old school clips of people like, and it's just so hilarious. But it's like it's just one of those things where like it's just football. You know, obviously you don't want nobody getting hurt and you don't want things to escalate to that capacity. But at the same time, it's like I always wanted to make sure like my dog was good. And then when I got here, I'm like, yo, like we're good. You feel me? Like I didn't have no beef with you. I just wanted to make sure like the whole time I'm thinking that you hit him. If I saw something different, you know, it would have been different. But that's what.
Tickets to the game, merch, meals at iconic restaurants, stays at Caesar's Palace. All this can be yours when you bet with Caesar Sportsbook. Win or lose, every bet earns reward credits, which you can redeem across the empire. Now, if you haven't started yet, register using code OMAHAFULL and then place your first bet, up to $1,250. If you win, great. You keep those winnings. But if you lose, you'll get your stake back as a bonus bet.
We talked about Pittsburgh and Cleveland, and two of the defensive player of the year candidates, TJ Watt and Myles Garrett. You've played with them. What's it like playing with those guys, and what's the difference?
You see why both of them are the way they are. Like Myles is that like freakishly like just like looks like a test tube baby, and then TJ is just very like methodical. He's very analytical. He understands the game. Like when you hear him talk, it's like he's seeing things before they're happening. It's like he's constantly playing like chess. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's almost like he just understands the game. Like he understands when to take his risks, when not to. He understands what the offense is doing. Like the dude picks off, you know, like dump passes. Like I think Coach T said he had like 7 career interceptions or something like that for a D lineman. That's great. That's crazy. But then Myles, you just look at and he just does like these freakishly like jumping over, like blocking, punting, all that kind of stuff. So both of them are great in their own right. And I think that's the amazing thing about football, regardless of like your size, body stature, whatever it is. Like if you're great and you have the space to be great, the great ones take up that space.
All right, Larry, have you learned anything from Cam since you've been playing with him?
Don't do that.
Man, no, man. Cam don't. Nah, man. I used to watch. So when I was in Cleveland, I saw Cam, and there's a couple years where I was like, man, Cam would be the reason why he ain't gonna get no Pro Bowl, like, because he just like stats, consistency. Like I'm like, man, this guy like. But it was also like a driving force because obviously Cam was competition for my first, 5 years. You feel me? Like that was like the standard. That was the staple. The guy who, like, when you thought about Pittsburgh, like you thought about Cam, like a guy who's just done it the right way consistently for 13 years and counting is like amazing. Like Cam had 10 sacks last season. And you're 12. Like to do it how he's done it at the level he's done it in such a consistent way is like I said, it's just amazing because what you do on the interior is hard work, man. Like it's not, don't ever take it for granted. Like they talk about it's like a hard road to hold. Like that's a hard road. You feel me? Like it's like bombs going off in the middle of it. Like, it's real. Like they talk about trench work, like it's trench warfare in between those tackles. And just to see a guy do it at a high level with always a great attitude, I think that's the thing that separates Cam from a lot of other people. It's just the spirit and the attitude in which he goes about his work. Like a lot of guys, who are up in their years, no offense, would, be just chilling and like this dude is taking scout team reps. This guy is doing whatever it takes. He's running extra after practice. Like he's being the example. And when you see somebody doing that, it's like, well, I can't take it easy either. Like this guy has done it and he's done it the right way for so long. He has every reason to chill, to kick it up, to take a couple of days off. He could practice on Fridays if he wanted to. I've seen people do it before, but this guy wants to work. He wants to be the example. And, he's a difference maker and you just see it. And like, I'm blessed to have a guy like that, to play beside, I'm in year 7, he's in year 13. It's like, he's really just that guy that, and he brings that, I don't know how to explain, he just brings that energy, man. And I think that's super important because a lot of times you go through this job and it's hard, but he never lets it take his joy away. And I think when you're a guy like that, I mean, you have You have every reason and every opportunity to be special, which he is, man. That's Cam, man.
Peter Pan.
Bro. Hey, it's Peter Pan. Let's move on though. Let's quit talking about this. Yo, we're making it sound like it's a eulogy or something, but like we got to keep moving because I don't like all this
Anytime
stuff.
somebody starts talking about Cam, always get because
No, we're not gonna do that
It's a
right
little
now.
antsy.
Hey, you know what? Let's
you never like compliments, and every time somebody starts complimenting Cam, he starts blushing. Like
He was
relax.
cringing the entire time you were
Start
talking. Larry.
blushing.
He was cringing the entire time. He was all like weird.
cheeks.
Yeah,
Your
weird.
cheeks are red, dude.
Yeah.
Oh
They are.
man, that's just because I'm Peter Pan, bro.
Yeah.
Whatever.
What do you expect?
Tinkerbell's not around, so there's no reason to blush.
Hey, bro. Okay, but we're pressed for time. I want to keep it moving. How do we get back on track this week versus the Tennessee Titans?
Make big plays, bigger plays. I felt like we made some big plays, but when you don't win, it's almost like it doesn't matter. Like it, and football is one of those sports that doesn't really let you not only sulk but celebrate too long because it's just such a quick turnaround. But I think really it's just like just making more big plays.
Yeah.
You know, like obviously yesterday was a super close game, but you just got to do it. Like, and that's how I've always looked at it. You know, you could go out and have 3 sacks and, you know, still lose and then be like, damn, like, you know, and that's just always the player I've been. You know, what more could we have done? And it's really just attention to detail, you know, being able to see the little things, you know, understanding that it all matters. I tell the guys in the huddle, you know, before the game, like it all matters because it does. You know, those little minute details, you know, the things, the little nuggets we get during the week, like all that got to translate to the game. And then at the end of the day, it's just going out there and making plays. Coach T talks about it all the time about, you know, A players being A. And there's a lot of truth to that. And I think it's guys understanding that anybody can be A. You just have to go do it. You know, and being A isn't, you know, that once in a blue moon play. Is consistency, week in and week out, you know, doing the right things week in and week out, because that's all football is. Football really is a game of mistakes and who makes the least amount of them. But then your ability to capitalize on the mistakes of others is what usually determines the outcomes of games.
Quick question before we get out. How's the puppy, Axel? Last year, I got to gift you a puppy for the Christmas exchange. Actually, I didn't gift it to you. I just put it out there for the Secret Santa, and you wound up with the puppy.
It really don't buy that. Don't buy that. He knew what kind of dog I wanted. Like Malik picked up, and everybody knew I was going to be the one to get the dog because Malik had a baby on the way, and he grabbed that crate and was Hey, he about lost his life. He was like, man, I got a baby. My wife ain't gonna let me. But nah, Axel's great, man. You never know you need something until you get it. And I always laugh when I say that's one of the greatest gifts I've ever gotten, just because, you know, it's just a gift that keeps on giving. You know, like Axel's probably, he's with my parents right now. They came and they got him on a bye week. But Axel's probably about 110 right now. He turned he turned 1 on the Vegas game, so a couple weeks ago. But man, he's awesome. That's my road dog in Miami, man. We were walking around, you know, streets of Miami, having a good time. But he's a lot of fun, man. It definitely gave me, you know, that extra. I felt like I was always, you know, super disciplined, but like just having him really just kind of really lock things in as far as like routine and, you know, just added an extra layer, because like now you got, you know, something depending on you, making sure that, you know, you're handling business, you know, whether it's taking them out or making sure he's straight and all that kind of stuff. So it was good. You know, when you're a young man like me, when it's just you, kind of, you're not really worried about the outside stuff. But now it's like having Axel, it kind of puts everything. It's almost like almost like a kid. You feel me? Like you got to make sure he eats. You can't sometimes Axel at first though was stressing me out. I was like, man, why did Cam do this to me? Peeing everywhere, like it was accidents. I'm like, bro. every time he pooped in the house, I would just picture Cam's face laughing. Like, you know, little head behind you just laughing, like, and then pointing at you like that.
Gotcha. All right, guys, it's our special time with our special friend. Sometimes it's time for our very special segment, Short Time with a Long Snapper, Mr. Christian. I forget his last name, but
Kuntz.
Welcome back. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. This is an honor and a privilege to be on this special segment.
Yes, special segment. I'm dressed up. You're dressed up. You're a hostage. I'm Peter Pan. You know,
I'm actually not dressed up. This is Coach T's shirt. Volunteers, not hostages, and I'm clearly a volunteer.
Wait, did you buy that in stores?
No. No, I didn't. No, I was given this. This is a gift. Oh,
is it a gift from Chris Boswell?
No, Boz is not wearing this shirt. Boz is not wearing this shirt ever.
Well, Boz won't wear that shirt, but Boz is probably asking for a do-over this past week. Did you get a chance to see his social media?
I did, yes.
What did you think about his take on everything that happened during the game?
I mean, honestly, it is like he put the crying face emojis and basically laughing at the call, which from that picture where it showed, you know, it was kind of laughable. And then from what I heard is the opposite side judge called it. So, and they called it late after the kick was like through. So like, why wouldn't you just call it pre-snap? Obviously, Boz isn't happy, dude. Like, he strikes a 56-yard field goal in the rain in Acrisure, like, not easy to do. And then they want to go bump us back 5 yards to 61, which, come on. Like, I mean, so, you know.
Yeah, it's definitely different. I was going to bring up one thing, too. You guys had a fresh ball on the 56-yard kick, right?
Yep.
And then after that, because it had been raining, you get a waterlogged ball. How does that affect the situation?
Dude, I didn't even talk about it. I didn't even think about that. I'm just pissed off about the call. Yeah, we kicked the first ball. We had 3 game balls a game. We kicked the first one. It's always like, it's a fresh ball. It's brand new. It flies well, like whatever. We kicked it. We made it. And then they threw in, that was the 3 ball. We had them throw in the 3 ball. 1, 2, 3. We had them throw in the 3 ball because it was fresh and it was going to fly better. So we threw in the 3 ball. We kicked it. We banged the 56. And then instead of grabbing that same 3 ball that hit the net, drying it off and putting it back down, that's the freshest ball at the time, or giving the 2 ball, they throw in the 1 ball, which has already been snapped for 5, 6 punts, rolled on the ground. Like, it's definitely waterlogged. Yeah, and they kind of just screwed us a little bit, and it is what it is. Like,
who controls which ball goes out there?
So there's obviously Mike, like, handles our footballs on the side, and he has the bag, and Boz will tell him like which ball to roll in for that field goal. But as for like which ball the ref puts down, it's between Mike giving him the ball or the ref asking for a ball. Like, the ref kind of dictates what ball goes down. And then like I remember what game was it? Baltimore 2 years ago, 2021. We're kicking the 33-yard field goal, and they called a timeout. It was raining, and I was. And you were like, "What?" You looked at me. You're like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "Look at the ball. We called a timeout, and the ref puts the ball down. He's rolling the ball back and forth like on the wet ground." And then you looked at the ref and you realized, and you were like, "Can we pick the ball up?" And the ref picked. You said that it was for us to go.
I would never. I'm a Disney character. No. I would never.
Peter Pan said that. That's interesting.
Peter Pan would never do that.
Hey, Peter Pan freaked out, and I needed it because the ref wasn't listening to me. The ref was like, "Well, kind of like, screw you, dude. Like, you're a rookie long snapper. Like, we're not picking up the ball. You're snapping it wet." And then I looked at Cam. Cam's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "Tell him to pick up the ball. Look how wet the ball is."
So I had to fight your battles.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Where were you Sunday, Peter Pan?
Yeah.
I was on the sideline. What else could I do, guys?
You could have controlled the ball that went into play like you did that time.
How would I have controlled? I couldn't even be on the field, bro.
Well, you were on the field. You were on the sideline. I'm sure you were standing right next to the ball guy or the ref, and you could have easily stepped in and said, "No, we want that original ball, not this wet ball."
Oh yeah, let me tell you about how much pull I have. Only thing I can get is I can barely get a drink of water on the sideline these days.
What was your point of view from that spot, Cam? Like, did you see the head over? Like, what did you see on that field goal?
I thought it looked good. Like, same alignment I've always seen, and you would think Christian Kuntz, being the long snapper, he would check to make sure everybody's on sides, right? So, Christian Kuntz snaps the ball, thinks it's good, and what happens? We get a penalty. So who's the penalty really on?
So I'm supposed to check if the guys behind me are onside.
Yes.
Listen, how is Isaac offsides also when he puts his foot behind my foot? How's that possible? I understand he's a bigger man than me, but he's a foot behind me. So how is he offsides?
So you're telling me we need a taller long snapper? Because you've got a
bigger head. He needs a bigger head so the helmet extends out a little further. Maybe you should use your helmet.
His helmet's huge, dude. His helmet's huge. Huge.
So is that Peter Pan hat he's wearing too right now, Coots. That thing looks like it's about to fall off.
Let's keep it moving now, boys. We've talked about Peter Pan, but we got to talk about Halloween plans. You got any this weekend or this week?
This week, we're doing a trunk or treat, decorating my truck, heading down to Light of Light and doing a little trunk or treat action tomorrow. So,
what will you be for Halloween?
I was already dressed up as Harry Potter. I have a special costume coming up for tomorrow and, the rest of the weekend festivity plans, but I can't really reveal what I'm going to be. I just can't do it right now. It's a big surprise, and you'll have to just see for yourself.
Bro, you don't even look like Harry Potter in this picture, bro.
Yeah, I do.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
The only thing you have in common is your skin color. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, you look nothing like Harry Potter at all.
I have the scar.
You look like Barry Potter, not Harry Potter.
Aiden, you're agreeing on this.
You kind of do look like Barry Potter. I mean, the beard makes you Barry. I will say it's Barry Potter. I agree.
That's fine.
And I don't even know if you would be Gryffindor. You'd be like Slytherin or like Hufflepuff.
Dude, don't ever say that I would be Slytherin.
You would. You would definitely be Slytherin. You are a snake.
I'm not responding to that. I'm not responding to that. Like, you're calling me a snake. I'm Gryffindor.
You're not Gryffindor, bro. Bro.
What was that?
You're definitely not Gryffindor. You're the furthest thing from Gryffindor. We might have to start a poll. What Christian Kuntz would be if he was in the Harry Potter world?
Slytherin just sounds dirty. Like, I don't know what's wrong in Slytherin.
You're from Pittsburgh. You're pretty dirty.
Wow, dude. Wow.
Also, that's coming from a guy who was born in Pittsburgh, if I'm correct.
I know.
So, you're a Yinzer. You're a Yinzer.
No, you are a Yinzer. You got the Pittsburghese down, bro.
It's Don.
See, there he goes. There he goes.
He does have that. He is more Pittsburgher than you. Yes.
Yes.
He was born here.
He was. He was born there. Then he moved to the South and lost the accent.
You wake up eating Permane Brothers. Just admit it.
I do love Permane's. I'm down here in the strip, dude. You should see this place is jumping here every Saturday and Sunday. Jumping. Line is.
Bro, you have a game. Don't be talking about Saturday and Sundays.
Well, I mean, I drive by. I live right across the street.
Oh, yeah. Now you drive by. How convenient. All right. Last question. All right. Most overrated and underrated Halloween candy.
Overrated is definitely candy corn.
My man.
Candy corn is so overrated, man. Like, people rave about candy corn. I just think it's so average. Most underrated are definitely Smarties, like the little sugar Smartie tablets. Oh man, those I could crush those.
Well, you're gonna have plenty of Smarties because nobody else is eating those.
Hey man, Smarties are not bad. We used
Smarties
to crush them.
Bad.
You could smoke them. Remember, you would crush them.
I remember crushing them up and smoking them.
Oh yeah.
What the hell were you two doing, crushing them up and smoking them?
You've never done that?
I've never crushed up candy and smoked it before.
Trust me, it's worth it.
You guys
it's
are
so
sick.
cool looking.
It's worth it.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it is.
You guys are junkies. Crushing
I
them
can't
up.
believe Cam did that. I'm actually kind of shocked. That's how he ate Smarties. Wow.
Yes. I've gotten my Smarties confiscated many a times by doing that.
Cam, what's your overrated, underrated? What's your overrated, underrated candies?
Overrated Twizzlers. I don't like Twizzlers at all. I feel like actually I'll say this. No, not even Twizzlers. Kit Kats. Kit Kats are overrated, bro.
Wow.
I don't like
Crazy.
Kit Kats at all.
No. That's
No way.
You were right.
Underrated. Oh, Reese's Pieces. Reese's Pieces are a go-to.
Those are properly rated. Those
Yeah,
are
those are-
rated.
These
Everyone
ratings
loves
are
those.
horrible.
Name a
Not
person-
everybody. Not everybody.
Everybody loves those.
Not everybody.
Who do
Okay,
you
Jolly
know?
Ranchers. Watermelon Jolly Ranchers.
Okay.
How about that?
I mean, that's I
Alright.
guess.
Is that more specific for you?
Well, I mean, but
Jeez.
The Reese's are pretty highly rated. I
yeah,
feel
Reese's
like.
are properly rated. Everyone likes them. And
Not
listen-
everybody though.
name
People
somebody
like
who
them
doesn't like them.
Butterfingers and crap. I can't stand Butterfingers.
No Butterfingers. No.
I mean, I like Butterfingers, man. It's chocolate.
Ew, disgusting, Hayden.
It's chocolate. Christian was right. It's candy corn is the most overrated one. Candy corn is disgusting.
Well, I wasn't gonna say candy corn. Obviously, candy corn is trash. Like we don't even keep it in the house. That's the first thing nobody wants at our house.
Let's talk about your son. I saw Cal after the game.
Yeah.
He looked at me.
Did he run away from you? Stranger danger?
No, he pointed at me and he looked like he was like kicking his heel back, like he was a pissed off dog, like he was about to come after me again. I'm sick of this kid bullying me, dude. He looks at me and points, "Stranger danger," and then he puts his heel in the ground and kicks up a bunch of dirt like he's a bull.
Yeah. He's
That
gonna be the
sounds
Grim
right.
Reaper. He's coming for you, bro.
Oh my god, dude. Get away from that kid.
Yeah. Just be ready, man.
He's a very physical 7-year-old.
Dude, he's so
He
physical.
plays a physical brand of ball. He is physical.
He hurts when he punches,
Uh-huh.
dude. It hurts my arms.
It does.
It's on purpose.
It
Just know
does
that.
hurt. It does.
All right. Well, that is our segment with our special guest, Mr. Kuntz. I want to say thank you for a short time with the long snapper. So get out of here.
Thank you. See ya.
See you, dude.
See you tomorrow.